here. Can I get him?
The drain zone was not there. Shut down. Going on. Zhonya's looks good, but like
Double kill!
Whoa,
Are you kidding me?
We thought the Zhonya's would be defensive, but it's enough trickery.
They were considered some of the best in the world.
Hi guys, I'm Reginald, best AP mid in the world.
Their accomplishments earned them accolades and even animations made in their likeness. They were once at the top of the North American League of Legends Championship Series. They were flying high until the fateful day where everything came crashing down.
I'm Bjergsen. I heard you guys need a new mid laner.
Who the are you?
Teleport because Xayah's already in trouble.
Bjergsen trying to go hard. The Ignite's on the first one. 3 minutes and 25.
And while they tried to hang on,
Not really the damage providers right now. Wicked can't do much without the team. High now takes down Vasily. This is going to be huge. The triple kill. Wait a minute. The quad kill coming up for High.
Down on this bottom side of the map, but he doesn't go for it. High catches out. Nice one, surely.
they couldn't stay on Cloud9 forever.
I've been thinking about when I've been wanting to retire for a while now. After the end of the season, I was just thinking more and more about like, would this be the time for me to step down?
For many NA mids, it was like watching a slow motion breakup that lasted years.
Up until they lose the game, they're winning. So
To date, only a third of LCS splits have had more than 50% of teams fielding NA mid laners. But all of that is about to change.
Honestly, I'm not sure why LCS teams haven't taken too many chances on NA mids. I mean, I think NA mids is split are playing well, so I think it'll definitely change how a lot of orgs think.
I mean, there was many times in like scrims even back then against Jensen actually. He went like 0-10 both scrims. I'm like, nice. And people were just like, I still don't know who the F this guy is.
I mean, honestly, I never thought about if just me is changing the view of NA mids or domestic players. Probably a little bit, like it has to, I feel like.
I think that there's been so much like team shuffling and so much like imports coming to the league that like team synergy has been mattering more and more. I think like just a lot of players, NA mids like happen to just have a lot of synergy with their team. Like Insanity has a lot of synergy with TSM. I have a lot of synergy with NRG. Jojo, I think, has just like been playing extremely well, like individually too, on his own.
These LCS playoffs, the story of tragedy and triumph, while the LCS trophy looms in the distance. This is the story of 2023 LCS Summer and the potential return of the NA mid.
I am that guy, yeah.
Yo, that's today, July 27, baby. We got NA mids, 2 of them showing up in the 2 separate games so far today. Game number 1 was all about Insanity on the Lucian. Game number 2, it was Jojo bouncing back on his Ahri. Now game number 3, we got to see what lies ahead.
I thought you were going to tell us what game number 3 would be about.
No, I can tell you.
Not going to leak?
Oh, not going to leak that. Not going to leak that. The script is sacred. It is forbidden. But now, let's go ahead and see how the teams are going to play it out. TSM on blue side, EG on red. It's Ivern, Jace, Tristana, Renekton, LeBlanc, band away. What does EG want to finish this with?
Kai'Sa? Do we want to let him have a Kai'Sa first pick over on the blue side? I feel like that is really dangerous because while Insanity has played so many different AD carries mid, the Kai'Sa just feels like right now on this patch so good, so flexible. Whoa, they don't even first pick though. They go for the Rell side of it instead.
Yeah, I think they know that if EG picked the Kai'Sa, you can go Rakan as an answer once again. It's open, so I think that's what TSM is looking to do. I think EG honestly might just pick like Kai'Sa Rakan and just take away both parts of them. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be the smartest thing to do for EG right now.
The Rakan has been so big.
100% win rate in the series.
Yeah, that's kind of had a hidden power, I think. It's been kind of just farming, and then team fights obviously is where you shine, and I think both Eyla and Chime, yeah, kind of good Rakan players, so it makes sense that it's a high prior pick for both of them.
All right, let's see if they want to go with that Kai'Sa. Maybe they just do Lovers Duo again, but that would be giving the Kai'Sa over.
Looks like they are.
Okay.
The synergy over the individual here. Looking for the duo on the bottom side for Unforgiven. You mentioned last time, pointing out the one time he didn't get his Xayah ult off as well. So now he's warmed up.
Yeah.
And won't be missing that again. But I would assume then it is going to be a TSM that would try and pick it up before the next rounds of bans come in, because that's got to get banned out in the second round of bans.
Looks like they're prioritizing Jinx here over the Kai'Sa. I mean, Maybe they're thinking also that they could get Xayah back 4-5 for mid lane for Insanity, but I mean, the Thresh Jinx looked pretty good.
And I mean, I do really like the Jinx. We saw Turtle display it in the last one where you can force the Xayah ultimate out, then you ult her to finish her if she did it when she was low. But like I said, I don't think, you can expect a Xayah to survive all the way to 4-5.
Well, so far, we have a salty run back of the previous game, which is telling me TSM saying it wasn't the draft, it wasn't the brain diff, it was the hands diff. We needed to execute better on it. We can still pull it off. The big difference I'm looking for is I think Hauntzer looked way better in game number 1 on a tank. Game number 2, the Rumble wasn't at the same level. So if there's any change, I would want to see TSM switch up the strategy for the top side.
And also when you see these 3 champs, you're not thinking of a dive comp, you're thinking a front-to-back comp, right? So you'd want something like the Ornn, something like the Azir, something like the Cassiopeia for TSM now. I think in the last game, they kind of had too little options when they fell behind. So I think with them going back to blue side, it's probably them just saying, we're just going to swap up our soul lanes and kind of draft an easier-to-play comp, and then EG can run it back if they want to.
Yeah, I think the roles just line up better for TSM if Hauntzer is frontline and Insanity is DPS. Whereas last game, Hauntzer was DPS Rumble and Insanity is like utility mid with the Lissandra.
Yeah. All right, well, Jojo's going to play the Ahri for the 3rd game in a row now. Evil Geniuses, 4 out of 4 champions so far, repeating from the draft of their previous game where they got a very convincing win. There's that Xayah still up. We could just see Insanity go with that. He likes playing these marksman champions mid lane.
She made it through, so I definitely expect lock in there and then have tank on top side for Hauntzer. They fixed the role assignments.
Now this is what I wanted to see from them. And then we have the Fiora counter pick with the Sejuani. I mean, both drafts make a lot of sense this time around. I think Revenge having the counter pick again with the Sejuani will be huge, but now we have TSM on the easier front-to-back comp.
What level would you put Revenge ego at right now? Coming off a pentakill and an 18-kill game for a top laner, insta-slamming a Fiora here.
Yeah, it's an all-time high.
It's at an all-time high, yeah.
He is on top of the world after that last one, man. You love to see it. And hey, reminder, during the 2023 Summer Split, use your MasterCard to make a purchase from the in-client store. Save your card on file for a chance to be entered for a chance to win a trip to LoL Worlds 2023 or a set of 8 Player of the Week statues. You can see on your screen that goes from July 13 all the way until August 6. So time is running out, but it's also running out here on the draft. 10 seconds left before we get into the game. Gentlemen, which one of these comps do you like more?
Oh, I would rather have TSM's comp, I think. I think with the AP Xayah mid, it's kind of hard for EG to close the gap on them. I think the Rakan has to have a better performance than the last game, and they have to kind of send it more, so I prefer TSM.
Yeah, I really did not expect the Xayah to survive the second round of bans there. And since they got it, I feel like it's a good adjustment for TSM to have Insanity on one of his really comfortable AD carries, DPS champion in mid lane, have Hauntzer up on the tank on top side. So I think these are positive adjustments for TSM, despite how much EG were able to kind of stomp towards the later stages of the last game.
Yeah, and in the first game, Insanity had Lucian as an AD carry, and in the early game, Xayah as an AD carry. So we might see TSM do a lot of aggressive things around mid lane once again, like they did in the game 1, and I think that will kind of be the difference maker, because TSM, I think they struggle when they don't find an early lead, and this game, they do have a lot of options.
Yeah, Xayah is definitely gankable, super gankable early on too, so we'll probably, again, see a lot more jungle pressure towards the mid lane here. Bugi's been so active on this Rell for TSM, and Sheiden last time around was able to answer a little bit more through the mid game. Maybe they want to get it going a little earlier this time though. Sweeper popped here for Eyla in the river.
And remember back to game number 1, it was TSM playing from the red side that invaded, the late invade on the enemy red buff, but Sheiden was starting with that Poppy on the blue instead, so he didn't get caught by anything. Maybe we will see another one of those delayed invades here in this game as Hauntzer's just keeping an eye on Revenge, but it seems that with the threat of the Fiora goofing around with them, Bugi does not want to start on that side of the map. Instead, now just going to be starting on his chickens, as Revenge is happy to trade with Hauntzer in these quick, snappy jungle skirmishes.
And 5 gold off pinging the ward.
Oh yeah.
Pinging the ward is my new favorite thing that was added to the game.
It's a big dopamine hit, yeah.
It's only 5 gold, but I don't know. I feel like I hit the jackpot every time.
Hey man, you ping 10 wards, free potion.
5 gold is a lot to some people, like me.
Support and jungle players. It's a support and jungle desk
good.
here. We need the extra. We need the extra coins. So let's see if Unforgiven and Eyla can make this Xayah Rakan work. Because remember, that was the conversation we had in the draft. Was, hey, is it worth breaking up the OP Xayah for the synergy of the Xayah Rakan?
And with Sheiden starting on top side here for Sejuani, I really like to see Sejuani players make use of level 3. And if you do a full red quadrant clear, just pass through the mid lane. Even if you don't get a kill there, if you can blow Summoner Spell, that'd be amazing. Or even a chunk of damage would be quite nice. And it actually doesn't cost you a lot of time to transition through mid lane instead of transitioning from your Raptor brush over to blue side brush. And he's currently on that side. Do it, do it, do it!
Insanity has no ward as well. He dropped on the bot side, so let's see what Sheiden can do here on the mid lane.
Yeah, just go through, use your Q, maybe you get something.
Yeah. Arctic Assault, nope, not quite gonna hit. Misses the second part of the W, so he ends up getting about, 20 damage there. Pretty much as ineffective as it could have been, but hey, like you said, it doesn't cost him anything to do it, so it still doesn't matter.
And he can transition to this red quadrant. Oh, he's not going for any sort of counter jungling. He sees the red buff there, so he's going to gank bottom instead.
Good vision by TSM here, yeah.
Yep, the ward spots him out, so Turtle and Chime are in a good enough spot to make sure that Sheiden doesn't get anything out of that one. I like the fact that he's looking. Again, I think game number 2 was a massive improvement for Sheiden personally, and it's a big reason why EG was able to bounce back.
Bugi coming for a pass of his own.
This looks like a Q flash angle. If he was a bit impatient there, I think if he lets the wave come a bit closer to the tower, then Jojopyun would be forced to step up.
Yeah.
But now he can ward instead and kind of be safe on this wave.
Ooh, nice use of the hook there to force out the cleanse from Unforgiven instantly. TSM putting in some work to maybe set up more opportunities for their own jungler to come down here in a bit.
And it looks like we've got a slight push on the mid lane, so... Oh, bottom lane push is going to trump it, though. Chime comes up first. Yep.
And also no cleanse on Unforgiven, so I think when he feels really threatened to walk into the river, and I think TSM knows this, so with that advantage on bot side, I think it's a pretty easy grab there for Bugi.
Bugi picking that one up without much of a contest from Sheiden, who now has to go back into his own jungle. He only farmed up the blue in this quadrant, so there's still Gromp and Wolves available for him to take. Bugi does not want to allow him to take it for free.
He could just yoink.
Yeah.
Yoink. Hello.
It's an easy steal for Bugi. Nicely done.
All right, he's still got his full red quadrant to go to also, but he's like living in their jungle. He's going to continue the counter jungle while bottom side ignite.
Dive on bot maybe potentially here if Bugi leaves the jungle and Insanity also goes to bot.
Look at the wolf fight. They're fighting over wolves. He's chasing him out of his own wolves right now. Bugi!
No flash on Sheiden. He was forced to flash away there, yeah.
Nicely done, man. Chad Rell jungling. Just invade the enemy jungler and start 1v1ing.
And then slowly walk away with your heavy metal pants and no horse. But good move there from Insanity too. You saw the little like hover from mid lane too. Insanity trying to back him up. A lot of team play as we just saw the little segment on North American mids. And Powerfox mentioning a lot of the synergy between these North American mids and some of their players, and Insanity backing up his jungler there too.
Yeah, I like how both mid laners are very aggressive on their timers. Sometimes you just see people kind of push and base. There might be a trader on the bot lane. Chime has no E or Q here.
Yeah, Turtle firing back though. They force a flash.
Boogie boogie.
But now can Bugi get something back here? There's still flashes available for both Unforgiven and Eyla. So Boogie's not going to be able to close enough of a gap to really threaten anything here, as Turtle and Chime still have enough HP to farm out this wave. Their mana's getting very low, so I'm thinking they probably want to go for a reset here sooner than later.
They do need a reset, and Bugi just showed that he hasn't based yet, so I think this says a lot for Sheiden. He can probably go for some topside vision here and kind of control the topside for revenge so he can keep pushing. So even though Bugi just showed for a split second, it gives so much information over to EG, and I think it just makes Shaiden's jungle career really good here. He can get a pink ward on topside without enemy knowing, and he can kind of just control the map here, and Bugi can't really enter on topside. So every information counts, and I think TSM gave a lot to showing bot lane there.
Hauntzer trying to go for the recall here as Sheiden walks up and at least interrupts it, so he's going to slow down that tempo a little bit, but I'm thinking Hauntzer should be able to get this done pretty easily. Sheiden really does not want to let the Ornn go home. Hauntzer's got to get all the way back underneath the tier 2.
Yeah, this is really good by Sheiden because of the info he got from Bugi. Bugi still hasn't based. He just took his red and is going down to bot side, so one piece of information cost a plate and 10 CS on top lane. It's a lot for EG, and I think if they keep chipping away like this, they're going to have a really good Herald fight.
Yeah, Boogie's had so much to do. He has not had a moment to go back to base. Had to tend to bottom lane and went for the very aggressive invade off of invade. He still has his potion ready, but I believe there was a ward over there that saw this start too. Yeah, and EG will react to it.
This is risky from the side of TSM. I don't really like it. Jojopyun is level 6. Bugi has no items. Sheiden has a full Bamis here, so if I'm EG, I'm very happy to take this fight, and I think Bugi should really just back off and take his base and just kind of be done with it.
Definitely reaching pretty far here, but they're going to stick around to fight it maybe. Unforgiven on a ward on the top side.
Eyla and Jojo both having the opportunity to potentially set something up here with some CC, but Bugi's coming back in. They're not just going to give the Drake away, but maybe they better think better of it. The nice engage coming out from Bugi, but there ain't enough follow-up damage. He has to be saved by the Lantern, and Unforgiven is bouncing the feathers around. The Dragon is taken by the Evil Geniuses, and now they're looking for more of a fight. A little bit of poke, not going to connect there from WildTurtle, and a charm from Jojo pulls in Chime. He gets a play back, and it's support for nothing so far. Xayah to the back line with a killer instinct to at least make it a 1-for-1, but it's more TSM players dropping. Turtle falls to the Spirit Orb, and Jojo gets a triple kill. Unforgiven and Sheiden trying to chase down Insanity. You guys said it. That play was dicey. TSM tried to roll the bones, and they lost hard.
I was about to bring up, okay, maybe TSM are just staying around because Rell is really good at stealing dragons right now with the amount of damage in Q. You can Q smite and out smite a Sejuani, but then they go for this. They go for the engage. He goes for the Q play into the W crash down, but there is very little damage following it up. And so they lantern back out immediately.
Yeah, I think Bugi, with the amount of jobs he had, he was kind of making a bad decision here, I think. I think he kind of forced his team into this situation. And in general, with the buy advantage on the jungler and no flash on support as well, I think this just looked EG favored from the start. I think it was very desperate from TSM, and they got punished for it.
Yeah, Bugi's health bar, when you look at it, it looks about as vulnerable as WildTurtle's. I mean, you're going in, that's your front line. And then just the way that everybody falls there. Insanity just barely getting away. Evil Genius is now with a 1,500 gold lead. What were we talking about earlier? The top lane control through Revenge that's going to enable easy Herald control, and now that's the next step for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, the snowball effect of that dragon fight is going to have huge repercussions for the entire rest of the map. You also get first Herald and first dragon, and top is winning. 2 plates for Revenge, pushes them off. Should be able to get away here, no problem too. That is a large amount of unanswered plays. EG going to continue.
Yeah, Insanity's gonna fall here, yeah.
Evil Geniuses, man. No, nice save. Chime was coming up through the jungle to give the Lantern to Insanity, get him out of there. But the pressure being applied from EG is gonna result in even more plates and more gold over in the mid lane. Chime with the flash over the wall, chasing after Unforgiven here. Yes, death sentence hits, but there's nobody else to back him up. Chime just went in by himself and died. That was the entirety of the play. Nobody else from TSM is in range. I have to wonder what that was for.
I think it was also like good acting by Unforgiven. He's like, oh no, don't hook me. And he stands there and he allows himself to be a play for Eyla. Eyla just ease over to him and then is able to get the knockup. So I think that was like well acted by
That was a good bait, yeah.
by Evil Geniuses. Unforgiven, nice little job there, baiting for his teammates. Lets the Rakan come in, and they highlight why they picked that and went for the duo synergy, because his teammates waiting up here out of the fog of war. Whereas from Thresh's point of view, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to get hooked on an isolated AD carry and my jungler is going to come over. No problem, but EG, again, making another play here as Jojo with ults.
Ooh, Insanity tried to use the Killer Instinct to dodge away from the Spirit Orb, but he still takes the second half of the damage! And Jojo with the max range, both parts hit instantaneously. He's spamming some emotes at him. Jojo is in the zone right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got 3 kills out of the dragon fight. He was so fed. He already had Everfrost, and now another one off a solo bolo here. Let's see if they give up anything, though, because Bugi over the wall. Chime.
No hook. There's only 1 minion here, so TSM don't have the time to try to jockey for position around this turret. It means Evil Geniuses is going to stay safe there, as Revenge, with the Herald in the top lane, can just hard force down this tier 1 turret. It is not even 11 minutes into the game, and EG is nearly up 4,000 gold.
Yeah, and top lane has kind of gotten a big lead now from the Herald. I think just taking stock of everything, it's just been a massive goal lead for the side of EG. They're up, yeah, almost 3k gold now, and it's just in general, when you're playing this front-to-back comp, you can't really afford to be behind because your silence are going to be very weak. You have an Ornn and you have a Xayah against an Ahri and a Fiora. Silence are very, very tricky, so when you're falling this much gold behind, you kind of have to keep fighting to keep the game alive, because otherwise you're just going to bleed out on side lanes and fall further and further behind.
Yeah, the solo laner is going to get super fed again. We all remember what happened last game, and here was the beginning of the fight that we didn't see. There's Jojo making use of the Everfrost that we talked about, him getting a super early mythic off of the dragon fight, making this possible. And then Insanity did dodge the charm, but not the last Q there. The max distance also going to instantly get the pullback damage too, so enough to get the kill and escape.
Now EG are kind of in the same predicament as they were last game because they're winning. Oh, Insanity is caught.
Yeah.
He's just dead.
Yeah, there's nothing to even say about it, man. The teleport's right in front of him. The charm couldn't even be missed at that point. A lantern to provide a save for Hauntzer. Chime and him, though, they're in some trouble. It's the sacrificial lamb roll from Thresh to try to get Ornn away. 2 more kills over to Evil Geniuses from this entire sequence, and now they've got a massive minion wave ready to crash into the tier 2. They're pushing even further. The Ornn comes out, aimed at Revenge, but he can just sidestep it. Another nice charm. TSM are lambs to the slaughter for Evil Geniuses. Revenge gets caught out a little, has to flash away before the chompers can activate.
Dude, nowhere on the Rift is safe for TSM to hide from Jojo. That one also gets another flash as Hauntzer has to escape from it. But we just went directly out of a replay of Jojo 1v1ing the Xayah, getting the kill on Insanity, into a live play of him teleporting to the other side of the map, and now we're going to get another one.
Why are TSM players continually walking into the charms? I feel like we have just seen so many dudes walk up top lane into a big pink projectile. That's what the entire last 60 seconds has been. I am perplexed.
They've been smitten. Jojo charmed the entire team.
he AoE charmed them. He got the wrist.
Yeah, it's one of the arena buffs. Charms now AoE hit the entire team.
Nice augment.
Yeah, that's a pretty potent one. But man, Jojo's just taken over the game. 6-0-1. He has 3/4 of the kills, and he's only not participated in 1 of those.
Another attempt here from TSM. They send 3 bottom towards one of the split pushers, but Revenge backs off for now. They got vision confirmation of both of them with the Scryer's Bloom, then the control ward here. And Revenge is trying to bait. His team is coming, but Bugi won't take the bait for long. Just kills the ward, takes the lantern out.
TSM, man, struggling to find any footing in this game. It feels like they're not on the same page. We're seeing people walk up alone. We're seeing people get caught. We're seeing this instance over and over again. Jojo is so far ahead that your jungle is a dark and dangerous place. Evil Geniuses are making TSM learn it the hard way, and now they're going to take down their second turret of the game.
I think the only upside here for TSM is that EG only has 1 dragon. So if you can stall this game for a long time, you can kind of have a comeback angle. But right now you're losing side lane and you're losing mid lane again. So there's not really a lot of options for TSM. I think they just have to play a bit more defensive, give up some more space. I think they're contesting too much vision in their own jungle right now and kind of getting punished for it.
Yeah, you better watch your back too. Jojo might head up to the caster desk and hit you with a charm pretty soon here. Revenge having some fun as well. Last game, you know, got to be the top of the scoreboard, highlight plays this time around, playing Fiora into tanks on the side lane with the rest of his team, just killing everyone and taking a lot of the attention as well away. So should be a smooth end for Evil Geniuses this time around, as we already saw them effectively 1-3-1 in the previous game, and this time around they've just got the turbo Fred Ahri.
It's not the exciting top lane experience, but it's the expected one in this one. You got 20% kill participation, a nice little CS lead. Hello. And you know what? You're winning your 1v1. Bugi is not having a good time getting caught out again. The lantern won't even save him. He tried to pop the Magnet Storm to be able to make his escape, but it won't work. 8-0-1. That is a legendary Ahri being piloted by Jojopyun in game 3.
Yeah, Jojo stood on the lantern, so he tried to Rell ult him and pull him off of it, but then they warded the lantern also, and he couldn't click it there either.
That one feels bad, yeah.
Now, there's the second Herald of the game. With the way this game has been going, with the amount of kills and momentum that EG has, you would think it's so late in the game that this Herald would have already been taken, but we're not even 16 minutes in. Nearly a 7,000, over 7,000 now gold lead for EG as they're controlling the enemy jungle, placing down the wards, zoning TSM back away, and Hauntzer and Turtle are trying to deal with Revenge now in a 2v1. Can he even survive this? No, the Ornn claims him.
Top laner got bored.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that as well. That happens when top lane gets bored. He's just like, my bad guys, I'm not gonna do that again. I'm actually gonna wait for you guys to push top first.
Oh man, EG just trying to get one more. There it is, nothing to it. Back to 7,500 gold lead with the tier 2 falling in top lane. EG still hanging out with Jojo and Sheiden up here. The smite on the Gromp to make sure they can get it and disengage before TSM can collapse. They are bringing a lot of guys up here, but EG has smelled that something is up. They're gonna step back.
Okay, so we're once again in this state where there's such a massive lead. there's no point in talking about the comeback mechanics. It's just, what do you want to go for? Send like 5 people at Jojo to get 1,000 gold shutdown? Try and clear out some vision, some sort of pathway so you can hide in the fog of war and surprise somebody, because this is way too early in the game for there to be a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I like this from EG. I think it's really good right now to send Ahri on top and kind of play aggressive on bot side, because with the TP, they can almost dive TSM on the bot tier 2, and I think that's just the next objective that's up. And even though TSM knows it, it's really hard to counter. Either they punch first and probably lose the fight, or they just sit back and give the tower, so there's not really any good options right now for TSM.
Plus also, EG, they're like, all right, maybe if they see the Ahri top side, then they'll come out away from the towers and we can actually kill them. If they see Jojo, they're definitely not going to come over.
Oh, but the engage from EG now as Bugi on the front line here does have all of the stacks from the Sejuani stun, but he will not get stunned up. Instead, TSM just backing up to their own tier 2 turret, continuing the 1-3-1 threat for the side of EG. Means that TSM is always pulled in multiple directions.
Yeah, I just saw EG ping the wave that just came out of base. They said asking for assistance, so it probably means that Jojopyun is either going to shift mid to bot here and they're going to look for the tower, or they will look for a mid dive. So this is the wave that they pinged, so I expect them to make a big play on this wave.
Evil Geniuses just making sure that they're not overplaying their hand here. Another good charm. Chime nearly dead. Not quite enough damage to finish him off as Sheiden now has to flash away. Bugi went in for the engage. Now he might pay for it with his life. 2 TSM players barely escaping that one. Turtle just not enough DPS to truly threaten EG as they try to make the play.
VG still have the Herald though, so I expect them to stay around and just drop it. I think just dropping it mid to get more map pressure is the correct call here. You don't need to get more than the tower. If you get the tower, then the Baron will be easy by itself, so EG are looking for the dive though.
Eyla flashing with the quickness to take down WildTurtle. The kill goes over to none other than Jojo. Tier 2 is going to fall here. No Herald required. Evil Geniuses still hanging around a little bit longer. Chime, Insanity, and Bugi just trying to stop this push from going any further.
And it's actually really nice to be able to save the Herald for like that bottom outer tower, because the side lane ones are worth 800 gold in comparison to the 550 of the mid ones. So you can just reset, get back here in time for Dragon, then continue on pushing. And I almost expect EG members to be waiting outside Baron's door, tapping their foot, like, please get here, because we're already 8,000 gold ahead of this game, just waiting, itching to finish.
EG has been playing really well though to kind of get these leads. I think it's very easy to see a team snowballing and go, yeah, they're not really doing that much, but the way that they push up vision and then defend it over and over and over again, it just creates a lot of pressure.
Super aggressive, and they're going to keep on doing it. Ayla on the hunt, but there is a lantern to escape to safety on the top side. And you see TSM's answer too. They're like, yeah, we know we're so far behind. The main thing we need to keep vision of is the Baron. Make sure they don't sneak the Baron, and they're holding out hope. Try and defend. Maybe there will be EG with a big mistake that they can get some kills back.
Hope is a dangerous thing, but it works right there. WildTurtle picking up the kill on Eyla as Revenge teleports in immediately with a repose as Evil Geniuses lock down Chime. Revenge has exploded. It's a double kill over to WildTurtle. TSM needed EG to screw it up, and it looks like they might have just got the angle. Baron is on the map too.
Well, they can definitely get an objective bounty shutdown somewhere. It looks like they opt for Dragon. Rift Herald, as you can see, is currently making its way up to the inhibitor tower, but this is exactly what TSM need to get back into the game. Stop the Dragon stacking of Evil Geniuses, get a bunch of gold back here off the objective bounty shutdown, and stabilize.
And Turtle got both of these kills as well, so it's a lot of gold in his pockets. I think if they could get the Jojopyun shutdown, they would be insanely happy. But this is a really good start for TSM, and they kind of need these windows to come back in the game.
Yeah, the road is definitely going to be a long one to make the comeback, but that was a good first step. And now EG themselves are starting up this Baron, so I think they'll probably stop when they see TSM coming. Teleports out from TSM. Actually, it's already burned down. That thing is going to poof.
The Baron at 3K. Teleport coming in from TSM as Bugi wants to challenge, but he's locked down before he can make his way into the pit. Hauntzer going after Unforgiven off to the side as TSM has Evil Geniuses trapped in the pit, but they got to be careful about Jojo here and now. Shaiden's focused down. Chime picking up the kill on him as TSM continue their chase. They can't just settle for trading Baron for 2, but it looks like that's what it'll have to be.
I honestly feel like EG getting a little bit antsy there. I don't think they had to rush quite so much. Giving up 2 kills and probably another objective bounty shutdown on a tower to TSM is very dangerous.
Can TSM get anything more from this? The tier 1 turret, okay, nicely done there, but this could be even nicer. Flash out from Jojo, but he's still gonna be locked down. He goes into the stasis. Ayla wants to buy him some time. TSM are gonna get that bounty. TSM are coming back into the game. Chime rips Revenge out of the air from the blast cone. Void Seeker ain't gonna hit him. Revenge is still on the run. That time the hook won't find the mark, but TSM are clawing their way back into game 3.
And that shutdown went to Turtle. The Jinx is getting so much money. That was the full 1,000 gold, I believe, off Jojo's head. TSM making the comeback real. EG, they got so desperate here. They rushed out to the Baron. I feel like they've just been playing a little bit too amped up, and then you see this from TSM. Nice little pincer movement on the teleport in. Hauntzer's able to kill off Unforgiven with just Insanity's W damage adding to it.
Yeah, I like the fact that TSM also chased this after. They know that their Ornn is coming up soon, and they need to get more out of this play. If it's only at 2 kills for Baron, it's huge. And then this Ornn, and then Flash kind of to force Jojopyun to flash away, and then just getting after. Turtle getting so much money here is big for TSM. He can definitely carry this one.
Yeah, Bugi came in with the Rell to ensure they could get both of them. Turtle getting the shutdown. Yeah. 2 rushed here for Evil Geniuses. This game was so far in their favor, and it is starting to crumble.
You can see it on Jojo's face. He's pissed. He knows that this game should have been free and clear at this point, but now it's back to a losable game. Turtle, nearly at the 3-item power spike on the Jinx. This is the guy that the game's going to revolve around as much as Jojo. If TSM get any more plays like that, you can see the gold lead starting to make its way back. And not only was EG stifled by the amount of gold that TSM was getting from the shutdowns and objective bounties, but remember there's only 1 player left with Baron now. That Baron power play is at -2,500. It starts at +15 just from the objective alone. That means it's been a 4K gold swing from it back into the favor of TSM. Revenge, yeah, he can enchant this 1 wave, but the rest of the waves, they get no purple, they get no buff, they are just gonna get killed.
Yeah, and also you have Ornn on your team, so you're gonna get Ornn items coming in, so the goal lead might look bigger than it actually is, and Turtle is the main carry in this one, and then Xayah getting more and more items. I think their front-to-back comp is actually coming alive right now. When you're down a lot of gold in the early game, you can't fight, but now they actually have a fighting chance in the game again because they can force down sides. They're strong enough to kill the opponents and actually pressure them back.
Yep, they got the Ornn upgrade on Turtle, the most key member already, and after those shutdown kills, he's almost to catching up to getting a 3rd item power spike himself to match up with Unforgiven. Insanity here on the Xayah still doing his best to try and catch up. So it's mostly going to be a team fight victory around Turtle if TSM can actually make good on this comeback. And you can even see it in their vision too. Previously, the entire map was completely dark for TSM, but they've at least been able to defensively ward up their own jungle, leading towards that dragon right now. Dragon number 3 right now, though. You don't want to risk anything getting picked off by an Ahri, going into a dangerous situation.
Okay. Void Seeker to pop the Arctic Armor there on the Sejuani. Follows it up with another one. Again, the poke not super effective right now, but at least he's got the W evolutions. We can keep spamming those out as long as he's hitting them. Evil Genius is staying grouped up, trying to avoid the pick potential here. Revenge going for a recall, but he has the teleport to rejoin his team if they get into anything. Oh, Chime getting caught out here. Sheiden going for the ulti. He drops the box, but the TSM support is in trouble. Finally, the stasis gets popped. He's trying to use the Magnet Storm for the jungler, but it ain't gonna work. Chime is already down. Bugi's already down. The Ornn sounds off, but it ends up just splitting the uprights. WildTurtle was not able to do DPS, while the front line ended up getting picked, and Evil Geniuses win themselves a fight.
Such a risky path for Chime to take there through the jungle. You don't want to give Ahri a pick chance. EG jump on it. That's going to be dragon number 3.
Yeah, I think you just, as TSM, it's kind of frustrating because you want to take back the jungle when your AD carry is fed, but I think he's just split off for no reason here. I don't think they're really fighting for anything, to be honest. Their carries are both on the waves, so they're kind of fighting over vision that doesn't really matter anyways, and I think you just have to be very patient if you're TSM, kind of wait for the right opportunity. I think you're fine just waiting for the next dragon. While Turtle has 3 items, he can carry a fight, but he needs to be able to hit if there's a fight.
Exactly. You have to be way more calm in these situations to complete an actual comeback. Props to Sheiden, though, for instantly hitting him with the Sejuani ult, nailing that, and then, of course, you're going to get Ahri ultimate follow-up there very, very quickly. So, EG taking a deep breath, calming down. They get another pick. They get another objective for themselves.
WildTurtle does have that rune on Hurricane, and remember, when you look at the EG lineup, it's 3 melee champions and an Ahri that's going to be diving in next to them. So there should be a lot of value for the Jinx off the AoE on the rockets there. Xayah's really the only one that's not going to be in the melee if it plays out the way you would expect it to be. Still 6,500 gold lead for EG. Still, the pressure is on now with the soul point state of the game. Every 5 minutes, it has to be an answer from TSM, because giving over that Infernal Soul just feels like way too much damage in EG's hands. Just goes to show how important stopping that stack was, and getting that one single Drake that TSM got was for the game state as it is.
Yeah, it looks like Revenge is trying to build a hull breaker right now with his Phage. I think if he gets this item, then the side lane pressure will be kind of out of control for EG. So I think when he completes that, EG are going to pressure Baron, but until then, I think they're just going to try to soft contest division. It looks like he has the gold right now if that's the purchase he's going for.
Yeah, the recall being channeled, back into the base he goes, and there it is, as predicted. Hull Breaker completed, third item for the Fiora, fully stacked up on the Ravenous Hydra. Divine Sunderer obviously makes the trades versus the Ornn so easy, and now it's just problems there in the side lane. TSM may just get hit with a pincer attack here. Keep your eyes on WildTurtle. Hauntzer's not going to get bursted down. They're not too worried about him eating some CC there at the start.
All right, they want to actually get some time for their split push to start gaining some pressure. So just wait for Revenge to get down to the bottom side. No full commitment here for Evil Geniuses. Once that Hullbreaker Fiora starts to get the work, there we go. We see her now at the minion waves, annihilate them with the Ravenous Hydra. Plenty of AoE to push that really quickly. It's an exposed inhibitor. Now their 4-person of Evil Geniuses can just go over to Baron and bait the Baron and look for these picks.
Everybody except the mid laner on TSM has their upgraded Ornn items. The only reason Insanity wasn't chosen first is because he doesn't have a mythic item yet. Static Shiv and Nash's Tooth both don't qualify for that. EG has started up the Baron. Revenge is still pressuring the bottom lane. Bugi leads the charge for TSM. They want to try to stop EG here, but the Baron is already secured. TSM were too slow, and now they've lost the objective, and they're losing the split push situation. Evil Genius is jumping in. Jojo's not going to find the first charm, but it lands it onto Hauntzer instead, as Bugi's stuck in the front line. The burst comes through, and the jungler's already down for both sides. WildTurtle has to flash away. He doesn't have the DPS uptime. Unforgiven lets the feathers fly over the wall. It's a double kill. It's everybody but Insanity dead, and TSM just lost the game off that one.
Yeah, that's going to be EG with some nice ending here. Able to calm down. They wait for the Hullbreaker split push to get down to the bottom side minion wave. Then they go over to Baron. They burn it while Jojo, while Eyla keep the contest from TSM away. And here goes game number 2. They're on the Nexus. Turrets, Insanity fighting for his life.
He flashes back underneath those Nexus turrets, but Evil Geniuses with the 4-man push take out the first one, but it bought enough time. Insanity's antics slowed down EG enough to still keep the game being played. EG gonna pick up that second inhib. Jojo leading in with a charm. They got the first kill on Chime. Bugi falls right after. EG was just backing away to come back in for the game-ending haymaker. They'll slap him right upside the mouth. Evil Geniuses. It was a bumpy road there for a second, but they got the job done. They'll win the third game. They'll move on to match point, and they'll do it with a 21-kill game.
They made it interesting there. TSM with a couple of comeback team fights and objectives, scrapping together a plan. But EG, they refocus, they return to the basics here. Use that Fog of War, get your pick first. They got the pick on the Chime leading up to Dragon. That allowed them to buy enough time and enough money for Revenge to get his Hullbreaker. Then they do the 4-1 split push, Baron versus bot side, and they close the game.
Yeah, I think patience is the name of the game for EG. When they're patient and can kind of take in the place as they are and not rush anything, they look really good. They showed that they had a lot of weakness in this game though, and TSM punished it. So it will be interesting to see next game if EG doesn't have that good of an early game, what would happen. That's gonna be a really spicy one.
Yeah, gotta respect that Turtle Jinx. The possibilities of winning these team fights off of some shutdown kills, off of some openings for him. TSM. Also, now they're the ones that need to reel because it has to be must-win games from here on out for them to come back in the series.
Yep, EG's on to match point. Game number 3 is wrapped up. But before we go, congratulations to all you at home who topped your leagues in Fantasy LCS on Sleeper. For those of you who didn't make it to the winner's circle, come back next split for a shot at redemption. Now with that third game wrapped up, we're going to head back over to the LCS Lounge to break it down.
Welcome back to the LCS Lounge, where EG are now up
2-1 over
Yeah.
TSM.
Yep.
If they win this next game, me and Treatz will be right.
And I'll only be half a game off, so I'm fingers crossed.
Yours is the thing that breaks and causes everything to just say like no
I'm just
when they try to run your predictions.
Realistically, though, that was like the best game that EG had this whole series.
Yes.
Right? Because I say game 2, they were down early and they clutched it up and we got like the pentakill and a bunch of quadra kills, but they really dominated the early game in this one.
And I really like some of the things that they did. Again, just kind of grabbing the Ahri for Jojo. He's incredible on this champion. I like the Fiora counterpick into Hauntzer, just kind of laying down that gauntlet there. And then, you know, making sure that they keep splitting up the Rell and Rakan to not give those champions over.
This draft really shows both teams' priority as well, right? Because obviously they went for the Xayah Rell. We've seen Insanity have insane games on that. And then Jinx, which is a super comfort pick for Turtle. And then the Ornn for Hauntzer. Like, this is a comp that we can see TSM win with, but like all the credit to EG, they're super comfortable on red side, like we said, and then they just outplayed them all over the map.
Yeah, outplay is the big thing that you have to acknowledge. Draft this, draft that. Jojopyun, though, 10 kill, 11 kill Ahri game, absolutely smurfing, setting things up in the side lane, just taking over the series.
Yeah, and the play around topside, just side lane flanks, I thought was the best part from EG. Just planning ahead is something that they really clearly shown. Even in that river fight where we saw just waiting and not taking the fight until Xayah had truly matched them. There are just certain points within this game where it's like, okay, EG is comfortable right now in the series, and they're playing the way they wanted to play, which wasn't the case for the first 2 games necessarily.
Yeah, I think in the latter half of game 2 and in this game, TSM had some similar things that had them fall behind. I do like Bugi on Rell, but I personally do not like Rell with Thresh. I feel like it puts you in a bit of a damage hole, and then you throw Ornn on top of that, and it really means that Insanity and WildTurtle have to Hulk out to even have a chance, and that's pretty difficult when EG has the ability to turn on someone with Jojo's Ahri.
Yeah, I mean, even this game had that big mistake with the throw in mid lane where they lost like a 5,000 gold swing. They're just like right back to continuing to run over the game.
Yeah. And in a minute, here's TSM kind of discussing what their game plan is going forward. But we're going to take a look back at one of the first plays we saw in that highlight reel, just because this is kind of where the game ended up breaking open for EG.
Yeah, Grubhub dub right here. So it was a bit of a JoJo show. Like, he's so aggressive in the front there, dodging some key skill shots, landing the charm, and that ends up being the go button for the team to follow up. But like, it is kind of just him chasing with the Ahri resets and landing all the skill shots he needs to pick up the triple kill.
And do not forget, the best way to beat the summer heat is by getting a refreshing meal on Grubhub. Use your code LCS Summer for $10 off your delivery order of $15 or more for new diners only. Terms apply. People keep wondering why we keep talking about JoJo. We're talking so much about him. It is because he is that good.
Yes. He's that guy, as you said.
What else do you want me to talk about? I'm going to talk about the best player in the game. Like, this is an LCS broadcast. We're watching League of Legends.
No, you know what? Ayla, we haven't talked about Ayla. Ayla's having a great series.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to talk about the best player in the game.
Ayla's had a lot of really good follow-ups.
Okay, good job.
Going forward, TSM choosing blue side again. I think this is something both teams, again, are comfortable with. TSM, I think they got the comp they wanted in the previous game. EG, obviously, super comfortable because it means they get those solo lane counter picks.
Somebody get Revin a laptop. That dude is reading drafts off his phone. Yep. He's got all these Wikipedia pop-ups probably coming up, and he just can't hit the X button.
And that's it for us. For now, we're going to toss to a commercial break, and the game will be on the other side of it.
Nicely done there, but this could be even nicer. Flash out from Jojo, but he's still going to be locked down. He goes into the stasis. Ayla wants to buy him some time. TSM are going to get that bounty. TSM are coming back into the game. Evil Genius is jumping in. Jojo's not going to find the first charm, but he lands it onto Hauntzer instead as Bugi's stuck in the front line. The burst comes through, and the jungler's already down for both sides. WildTurtle has to flash away. He doesn't have the DPS up top. Unforgiven lets the feathers fly over the wall. It's a double kill. It's everybody but Insanity dead, and TSM just lost the game off that one.
I'm on a mission and I won't stop. No destination, but it's worth a shot. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hmm?
Typical beginner's mistake.
Yes, yes, they all start from the outside.
So, will we help him?
What else? Here, try it with Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you wings.
涙よ星に瞬きを伝えて守るものがあるからきっと強くなれる語るべき言葉なくした星の守り手は時の果て夢の果て闇に立ちすくんだ風を呼んでみたんだ空に向けて誰かを呼んでみたんだ光求めたソリチュードかすかなレゾナンス確かに届くロマンスそんな流れ星たちを抱き留めた明日が見えなくたって乗り越えなくちゃって奇跡の奇跡描き未来へつなぐ Growing High 心のフォトンが銀河にこぼれて道を強く照らすバニーラそれぞれの思い秘めた星の守り手は空からの呼ぶ声に導かれた重ねる